Hello, good morning. Welcome to another exciting time we talk about business. It is Business 360, and my name is Blyden Kim. Breaking this morning, we hear that Japan's inflation rate has hit 7-month low. We begin from there. Japan's annual inflation rate eased to 3.3% in June 2025 from 3.5% in May, marking the lowest reading since last November, as a sharp slowdown in electricity and gas. The gas prices offset persistent upward pressure from rice. A multiple observation indicates that core inflation also matched. A core inflation matched the headline rate at 3.3%, pointing to a 3-month low and aligning with expectations. And now let's look at the charts indicating Japan's inflation rate. The chart this morning are looking at Japan's inflation rate. According to the standings from the chart, as of January last year, inflation in Japan stood at 2.8%, and by July, similarly 2.8% last year, had sloped down to about 2.3% in October last year and began to build that increase, and getting to a peak point of 4% in January 2025. And continually, the last how many months? Last 5 months are slowing down, currently around at 2.3%, indicating that the Japanese yen is doing quite well in the market, as well as the cost of commodities in Japan coming down. And now to the US. The US slabs a 93.5% dumping tariff on Chinese graphite. The U.S. Commerce Department imposed preliminary anti-doping duties of 93.5% on Chinese graphite imports, a key battery material, after finding they were unfairly subsidized. This follows a petition filed in December by the American Active Anode Material Producers, which said Chinese firms violated anti-dumping laws. With existing tariffs, the effective rate now totals 160%, according to the group. The move is expected to heighten tensions in the global EV supply chain, already strained by China's export controls on critical minerals and battery tech. Shares of battery suppliers dipped, while North American graphite producers rallied. The Commerce Department issued its preliminary finding on Thursday, with a final decision due by December 5th. And now to Africa, as the Democratic Republic of Congo had to pay Barcelona over 40 million euros for his own promotion. The Democratic Republic of Congo has entered into a sponsorship agreement with over 40 million euros, equivalent to $46.4 million, with Spanish football club FC Barcelona, aiming to promote the country as a tourist destination despite ongoing internal conflicts. The 4-year deal, dated June 29, will see the slogan "The Heart of Africa" featured on the backs of FC Barcelona's men and women training and warm-up jerseys, according to reports. A multiple indication shows that the DRC-branded logo will also appear in club advertisements, the annual report, and the club magazine. A multi-million euro gamble, the sponsorship, which has not yet been officially announced, will cost the Congolese government between 10 million euros and 11.5 million euros annually. It forms part of a broader strategy to rebrand the conflict-hit Central African nation as a hub for tourism and investment. This deal follows similar undisclosed agreements with European clubs AS Monaco and AC Milan. Congolese Sport Minister Didier Abudimbu has said the Monaco contract is worth 1.6 million euros per season, while a government source said the AC Milan deal annually. And now to Kenya, let's talk about the largest bank in Kenya opening a UAE office to attract Gulf wealth. Equity Group Holding PLC, Kenya's largest lender, plans to establish an office in the United Arab Emirates in the fourth quarter of the year. This move follows similar expansion by other African finance institutions into the Middle East. The Gulf region has shown an increasing interest in investment across Africa, particularly in energy and agriculture. And now to Tanzania, as a gold has dethroned tourism, or rather gold is dethroned and tourism emerges as Tanzania's top. Tourism has officially overtaken gold as Tanzania's top foreign exchange earner, marking a historic milestone in the country's economic rebound from the pandemic. The earning placed tourism just ahead of gold, which brought in $3.83 billion over the same period. The year 5, tourism revenue reached $3.92 billion, contributing 55.1% to service-related earnings. A surge in international arrivals played a central role in the sector's rise, with visitors' numbers reaching 2,170,360, up from 1,961,870 in the prior period. In Nigeria, as Dangote holds a fuel discount scheme amid fraud allegations. Chemicals has uncovered a fresh racket involving some of its affiliate marketers and strategic partners who have been diverting subsidized refined petroleum products for profit and prompting the suspension of the refinery's discounted fuel supply scheme. Investigation by the refinery that certain marketers who were granted discounted products meant to ensure affordability and steady supply across retail outlets had been rerouting the loaded trucks to unregistered third-party marketers. The scheme was originally designed to support Dangote's registered affiliate marketers in achieving stable profit margins amid price competition from fuel importers, while also guaranteeing nationwide availability of the refinery's products. However, the marketers were found to the distribution chain by allowing importing non-registered marketers to pick up products from the refinery using their authority to collect loading tickets. This allowed them to cash in on the price differential without incurring legitimate and legitimate costs associated with logistics, retail station operations, or administrative compliance, making fast profits. And now we'll go on a quick break, and when we're back, the conversation continues in the world of business, looking at standing still within the country Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's your Business 360, and my name is Blind Logan. Still within the context of Nigeria, UK firms explore investment prospects in Nigeria. About 27 London-based companies in fintech, enterprise technology, and sustainability have explored investment opportunities in Nigeria during the just concluded visit of the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. In a statement from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and British Deputy High Commission, on Thursday, the trade delegation was supported by the Mayor's Growth Agency, London and Partners. The delegation connected with Nigerian policymakers, investors, and creatives through curated events aimed at fostering collaboration and unlocking new business opportunities across Africa. Still in Nigeria. Now let's talk about the federal government of Nigeria and what they're looking at. A shocking surge for electricity. The federal government's electricity tariff subsidy jumped from 610 billion naira in 2023 to 1.94 trillion naira in 2024, according to reports. This represents a 219.67% increase in yearly subsidy funding, despite Ban A tariff hike of April 2024. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and analysts observe that the subsidy figures rose following the floating of the naira by President Bola Tinubu in June 2024, removal of fuel subsidies, and leading to high inflation rates. According to NEC, the federal government incurred a total electricity tariff subsidy of 1.94 trillion naira in 2024 to cover the shortfall between the cost-reflective tariffs and the actual tariff approved for customers. It was reported that the federal government paid only 371.34 million naira out of the 1.94 trillion naira subsidy obligation for 2024. This translates to 0.019% settlement. Still in Nigeria, the federal government targets 23 trillion naira GDP boost through value addition. The federal government is concerned that Nigeria is losing money through excessive unprocessed raw material exports, considering that its GDP in 2024 averaged 19.83 trillion naira. In 2025, it moves a value addition law that will help to plug the leakages and increase real output. The federal government is eyeing a 17% year-on-year growth in real output, targeting an increase in real gross domestic product to 23.2 trillion naira by implementing a new bill mandating 30% value addition to raw materials before exports. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, Professor Nyalugu Ikemunzo, noted that the federal government is banking on increased domestic production and reduced raw exports to drive economic expansion. A real output of an economy refers to the total value of all goods and services produced within a country over a given period, adjusted for inflation. And now regarding motorcycle makers in Nigeria as man laments. The Motorcycle Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, has accused government officials of neglecting local motorcycle makers, hinting at plans to write a formal appeal to the National Assembly, urging lawmakers to adhere to the Nigeria First Procurement Policy by patronizing locally assembled motorcycle for constituency projects. The chairman of MOMAN, Lombard Ekewuba, lamented that despite the existence of a long-standing policy mandating government ministries, departments and agencies to patronize local manufacturers, lawmakers and government officials continue to float it by importing motorcycles through private dealers. Ekewuba said the association is preparing to remind both the Senate and the House of Representatives in writing that the law bars individuals or organizations without local assembly plans from importing motorcycles. Now, there have been a big question regarding Otedoko's exit for First Hold Company, the corporation and the shareholders. Shareholders of First Hold Corporation have reacted to the report of the exit of a key shareholder and the former First Bank chairman, Oba Otedoko, who was said to have sold off his shares worth 323.333 billion naira in First Hold Corporation. In the block deal on the Nigerian Exchange Limited on Wednesday, the transaction saw 10.43 billion ordinary shares of First Hold Corporation are traded in 17 off-market, negotiated deal at an average price of 31 naira per share. The block deal represents a 25% majority stake in the financial holding company, which has 41.87 billion outstanding shares. The buyer in all 17 deals was First Securities Limited, while the sellers include Cardinal Stone Securities, Meristem Stockbrokers, Renaissance Capital, Regency Asset Management, Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers, United Capital Securities, and First Securities Limited acting as both buyer and seller in select trades. The negotiated window on the NGX allows parties to pre-arrange the price and terms of large volume transactions before formal execution on the exchange. The transaction clears the path for Tedolo, currently the largest individual shareholder, to consolidate his control within the group. Between the late 2000s and early 2020s, First Bank's balance sheet came under pressure from a string of non-performing insider-related loans to companies allegedly linked to Otudeko. The loans included ITO Group, with reported exposures exceeding 150 billion naira, a Seawolf Drilling, a deep-water oil services firm that collapsed under debts, and Investors International London Limited, which failed in its bid to acquire Nitel in 2001. And now we'll go on another break, and when we're back, the conversation continues, looking at global economic standings and the markets. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It is Business 360, and my name is Blyden Okem. Let's move straight to the market and talk about the price of Bitcoin as Bitcoin climbed to record levels. A Bitcoin rose above $120,000 today, just shy of the record high reached earlier in the week, as market reacted to the passage of the first major U.S. cryptocurrency legislation. The House approved the bill on Thursday following the Senate's earlier vote, and President Donald Trump is expected to sign it into law later in the day. The legislation sets a regulatory framework for stablecoins, digital token backed by assets like the US dollar, marking a key milestone after years of industry lobbying. And now let's go to the market and look at the price of the cryptocurrencies this morning. The price of the cryptocurrencies, the price of Bitcoin. A Bitcoin price stands at 118,856 US dollars, falling by 452, a negative 0.38%. Ether, on the other hand, at 3,607 US dollars, gaining 130.57 a point this morning. Binance on positive 16.7 point. Cardano, Solana, Ripples, mixed fortune. And now to the currency market. First, looking at the FX update. We'll be looking at the top currencies in the world. The top currency losers are Turkish lira, falling a negative 0.79%, the Japanese yen, negative 0.17%, dollar index, negative 0.13%, and British pound, negative 0.07%. But the gainers are led by the euro, 0.03%, just a slight gain in the market. Let's move straight to the market, the Euro USD market, and afterwards the state of the Naira. The Euro USD market this morning. Perspective of the market has been centered in different dynamics. The price level stands at 1.16, a 4-point mark, a slight gain for it, a 0.22% gain for the euro over the dollar. The pound against the US dollar price level stands at 1.34-point mark, and the pound gaining just slightly. Volatility has been a case in this market. The volatility level is quite low. The Aussie also gaining 0.35%, the Australian dollar gaining 0.35% over the US dollar. And now let's look at the state of the Naira, the US dollar against the Naira. A US dollar against the Naira price level stands at 1,527 Naira to the US dollar, the dollar falling by 1.5 points against the Naira, and the euro gaining 1.91 points over the Naira at a price level of 1,777 Naira to the euro, the pound falling 0.9 points against the Naira at 2,052 Naira to the pound. And now, let's look at the commodity market as gold is set for weekly decline. Gold held its recent decline below $3,340 per ounce today, on track for its first weekly loss in 3. A strong U.S. economic data reduced the urgency for the Fed to cut interest rates. Retail sales rebounded more than expected in June, while weekly initial jobless claims unexpectedly fell to a 3-month low, but signaling resilience in the economy despite the impact of tariffs. Nevertheless, supported by ongoing trade uncertainties, with President Trump recently announcing plans to notify over 150 trade partners of that tariff rates. Geopolitical tensions, including the escalating Russia-Ukraine conflict and unrest in the Middle East, further enhance gold's appeal as a safety asset. Quickly, let's go to the market, the metal market first, and afterwards the industrial markets. The metal markets. A metal market comes with different oscillations in it, but the bulk of them are being positive. A gold price at 3,351 US dollars per ounce, gaining 13 points this morning, and silver price at 38.35 US dollars per ounce, gaining 0.208 points, a 0.55% in depreciation for silver. Copper upward by 1.38%, and steel price falling by 9 points this morning at 3,101 Chinese yuan per ton. Quickly, let's look at the industrial market. Industrial commodities are begins with bitumen, a price level of 3,655 Chinese yuan per ton, gaining 12 points. Cobalt, no significant change for cobalt. A lead in the market, gaining 29.95 points, or 2,006 US dollars per ton. Aluminum price upward by 3.8 a point. Quickly, let's look at further markets. The agricultural market. Agricultural market indicates the price of soybeans at 1,035 US dollars per bushel, are gaining 14.02 points, with a price at 540 US dollars per bushel, gaining 7.44 a point. Lumber are gaining 5.5 points. Palm oil are gaining 1.41 points this morning at 4,353 Malaysian ringgit per ton. And now, into the other market. Energy market, the price of crude oil as we set to close. A crude oil price stands at 68 US dollars per barrel, gaining 0.624 points this morning, 0.92% in depreciation. Brent, which represents Nigeria's price benchmark, the price stands at 70 US dollars per barrel, gaining 0.509 point. Natural gas upward, gasoline upward. The bulk of the energy commodities are gaining this morning, but the volatility level has been the concern. It's a conversation about the market and businesses and the economy. And here we go, according to today's edition of Business 360, capping the week for the energy market with positivity. Thank you for being a part of it. My name is Bladwin Kim, and thank you for watching.